People aren't born kind. That is such an amazing line, and it holds so much more meaning thanks to the person that said it within this episode of Fruits Basket. Tohru, as a female character, protag, she is probably one of the sweetest characters I've seen in a while. She is definitely up there. She is honestly someone that would be willing to give up her own shirt on her back to save someone, to keep them warm, even if it's winter outside and she has nothing to keep herself warm. She is a very sweet and kind girl. And seeing her say that, seeing her say, people aren't born kind, is beautiful, because it's such a major message to what the themes of this series is, but what it's also trying to teach everyone that watches it or reads the manga. And to kind of explain it, basically she's saying that when we are born as individuals, as young babies, we're just babies and we don't really know anything. We're just now making memories, learning things. We are born in a way to where we just focus on survival, because we don't know anything. And so technically, when we're born, the only thing that's really working at that time is survival instinct. Instinct in general, human instinct. And we have to rely on the people around us. We have to rely on our parents or whoever that takes care of us to allow us to get to an age to where we can eventually foster and have our own kids. And that's the whole point of that. The message there is that people aren't born kind, and depending on their upbringing, depending on what happens in their environment when they're at an early age, will determine what type of kindness they have. Will they have kindness, or will they not? Like, let's look at two major examples. You have someone like Tohru. It's very obvious she's had a difficult life, but she has taken life in stride, and she had a very caring family, or at least mother, that really loved her, and she cherished that completely. And you can see, thanks to the kindness that her mother showed Tohru, Tohru ended up being a very kind individual because of her environment. Even though she is honestly not in the best situation, how she was at the beginning of the series, she still was kind thanks to her upbringing. And now let's go to the completely opposite direction. We have someone that is born and might be in a rich family, has everything, but their parents don't care much about them. Their parents are never in the picture, their parents are never there to give like parental love or anything like that. You know, the child is just by themselves to fend for themselves. They literally have no idea what their parents really are like in the first place. And that's kind of the big difference here. Because of that, it can make a child very, I guess, cold or very isolated or really not knowing how to show kindness to others. And that's kind of like examples here. Depending on your upbringing will determine what you show to others. And I think that line right there, people are not born kind, is just beautiful for this series. I just did not expect something like that from this series in general. But okay, another thing too I like is the plum, the pickled plums that Tohru was talking about as well. She was talking about how everybody has a plum on their back. Now, when you first hear what she's saying, it sounds hilarious. It's a really messed up and weird analogy. You're like, what the hell? But when you really take a moment and look over the funniness of it and just the character in general saying it, and you think about what she's trying to say, it means a lot. She's basically saying that every individual in this world, they have potential for something. It may not be anything grand or amazing to be like, let's say, ruler of the world, but everybody has something on their back, something that makes them who they are, makes them stand out, makes them, you know, in some ways better than others around them, but they don't really know it. Because let's look at certain things. Most of the people in, you know, real life, they don't really know what they're good at. They spend their entire life trying to figure out what their purpose is or, you know, what they're good at. But the thing is, on an outsider's perspective, when they look at someone or look at this person that's trying to find what they're good at, someone instantly knows what they're good at because they're able to look at the outside, the exterior of the person and see what they can do. And so that's kind of what she's trying to say, is that it's easier for people to notice what you're good at instead of you noticing what you're good at. That's the big thing here. And many people, like I said, could spend their entire life trying to hunt down what they are and might not ever find it, but it's just so simple for someone else to come in and figure it out. It's a very real life thing, and it explains why some individuals get jealous of others. It's a very big part of how life is. Like, you might be really good, let's say, like, you're an office worker, okay? And you're really good at, let's say, doing certain things in the office. Like, you pump that stuff out. You're really good, and because of how good you are, you get noticed by the boss. And obviously, you don't really think you're that good. You don't think that. You're just doing your job. But you have others around you that are getting jealous, you know, talking behind your back and all that, and they're just angry. It's because you have potential, you're good at this, but others don't like that. They don't like how good you are at it, and you're just, you know, outshining them. That's how it is. So, I love the pickled plum that Tohru also mentioned. There's a lot of life lessons to learn from this episode, and easily I have to say, this is one of the best episodes of the story yet. Now, I know this is episode 3, but I will say that this is a phenomenal episode. Like, I am really blown away by just the level of detail to the world building, or just the story building, the characters, and just seeing how Tohru as a character, she isn't just a shallow MC, she isn't someone that's just bubbly or happy. There is a lot more to her that we, didn't realize. If you started this series on the first episode for the first time like me, I wouldn't have known she was kind of like that. So, I am proud to actually be watching this series, and I'm very thankful so many recommended me to watch this for such a long time, even though, like I said, this was on my list for a very long time, even before I became like a YouTuber. This has been on my list to watch for a long time. I'm very happy so many kind of like, Chibi, you gotta see this, you gotta see this, you gotta see this, and I'm glad I was able to give this a chance, because man, what have I been missing all these years? This is truly a good series. But okay, let's talk about the episode. So, this episode of Fruits Basket, it's fairly simple. There's one major theme that this episode wanted to show, is that Kyo and Yuki, they are someone that they have their issues. We know that they, constantly are bickering with each other. They're constantly arguing to where, like, they can never agree on something. They're always picking fights. And Tohru is trying to figure out a way to kind of make them coexist or, be happy with each other. And, Tohru goes out of her way to show both of the characters kind of where they shine at, why they're good at what they do, and they shouldn't constantly think that, oh, you need to be the exactly like someone else. You need to stop being jealous, get rid of that, and just, cherish what you're good at. And so that's kind of what happened there, is that the whole rice ball scene. It's a very simple scene. It's very, very simple, but it matters a lot, because you have something like that where Kyo or Kyon, he comes in and he just, starts making a rice ball real quickly. And Tohru's just taken back. She's like, whoa, you're amazing. You're amazing at doing this. And it does seem like it's a very simple task. It is, but it's still something that many train to do. Some people take classes, cooking classes, just to be able to do stuff like that. And you have someone like Kyo just coming in, he's just making a rice ball, and he just goes on with his day, and he just sits down. He doesn't think anything about it. He's just like, okay, it's done. And that's the part about this. Like, the major aspect is that, many people, they have talents they're not aware of. He is really good at stuff like this, or he's really good at making friends, even though he's very evasive at the beginning, and he doesn't really want to be surrounded by people. When he gets surrounded, and he finally kind of, gets a group going, he actually fits in, he laughs at them, and he's able to be normal. And this is something that obviously Yuki is lacking. So it's not just Kyo that was jealous for Yuki and why his position is, or how he's a part of the Zodiacs. You have Yuki that's jealous that Kyo is able to just go in and, make friends like nothing, because Yuki's a very isolated individual that, just keeps his distance from everyone. He doesn't like to open any doors for anyone, and he just likes to keep to himself. And that was a major part there too, is showing that it's not just Kyo that's jealous, Yuki is jealous as well, which leads to the fighting with each other. And if they both can put aside these differences and learn to better themselves, then they can become great friends. And that's obviously what happened at the end. Thanks to certain things being pointed out, they're trying to fit in any way they possibly can. For instance, you have someone like, Yuki, he's trying to be able to fit in with a group and make friends. You have someone like Kyo, he's trying to realize his potential of, being able to make food, and also being able to actually understand that maybe it's okay if he's not a part of the Zodiacs. Let it go and all that. Just enjoy what he has. There's a lot of things about this. So, I like the episode, obviously. It's a great episode. It really has a highly detailed story. I'm very impressed, by the way. Like, I didn't think this series would have a good story like it does, but I guess it makes sense it would have a good story since it survived for so many years, like it's so popular, and, how it even got a remake in the first place, but still, though. So, overall, I think this is a pretty freaking good episode. I couldn't ask for any more with just how fantastic it was, and I can't wait for next week. I cannot wait to see where the story's going to go. And obviously, this is episode 3, so I guess I want to ask the stereotypical question I always do every single season. Since this is episode 3, how does everybody feel about the series? Is it good? Is it meeting everybody's expectations? I'm going to ask you manga readers, because you guys are the ones that, this series is obviously meant for. Manga readers, how is this anime adaptation? Like, is it following the manga? And also, how does it compare with the original Fruits Basket? Like, is it high quality? Like, I know the art and animation's high quality, but how is the story adaptation? Is it better than the original or not? Be honest in the comments below, because I am very curious about that. But I think I'm going to wrap up this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.